me make a statement here. Over my life, I have pastored a few churches. I planted a church and I've pastored a few, and I've been an associate pastor at several. And those have been wonderful learning experiences. Because you know what I learned? I'm not a true pastor in the sense of a shepherd. Now, first of all, I am not fond of even the formality of being clergy in the pastoral role. But beyond that, I found out that being a shepherd, meaning one of the fivefold is pastor. You know, by the way, Bob Jones always used to liken the fivefold to your hand: apostle, prophet, evangelist, pastor, teacher. Apostle helps all the others. Prophets, like, you better watch out, you better get in or you're out. The evangelist was the furthest reaching one. He could reach around and bring in the fringes, bring in the people on the fringes. A pastor was the ring finger, the love finger. Bring love to the flock and care for the sheep and go in the trenches when they were down and out for the umpteenth time. And the pastor just seems to have a lot of grace for that, right? And then the little finger is the teacher. So every jot and tittle, every line and precept, put it all together, make it make sense. So fivefold. Anyway, I found out that I'm not a true pastor because I can pastor pretty well in short bursts. You give me about 3 times with somebody in the form of counseling or something like that, and man, I can cry with you and I'll laugh with you, and we will really feel like we connected to the max. But after that, it's like we either get with the program or I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that is. It's probably a broken part in me, or maybe that's just the way I am. Maybe that's just my what I'm called to be. So I found out that I'm probably more of a pioneer. And a pioneer, he likes people, but not too much, Don't give me too many people too often, because he also likes being out there on the cutting edge. He likes finding something that's never been found before. And what's he doing that for? Not just primarily for his own sake, although he gets a reward out of that, but he knows there's people behind him. Oh, I feel that right now. I'm speaking about myself, I think, is what I'm feeling. But there's people behind him that are very much dependent upon whether or not that pioneer finds a fresh way through the mountains. Like the gold rush people going over the Rocky Mountains. Can we find a pass through these mountains? I'll tell you one little story. So we lived in Wisconsin for about 12 years, and this concept became very alive to me. I realized that I was probably more of a pioneer than anything, and I just love being on the forefront, on the frontier edge. And so we did things kind of strange. I won't go into details, but we just did things strange. We were not a conventional church. Well, I moved to Kansas City. Listen to this. Honest to goodness, 1/2 block that way from my house are the California Trail, the Oregon Trail, and the Santa Fe Trail before they split. It's 1/2 block that way. I'm on the trail that the pioneers forged the first major kind of routes from the Midwest to the far West. So, I don't know. I think the Lord must know some of that stuff. So, moral of the story, find out who you are. And then do it with all the gusto and the grace that God's got for you. That's kind of why I like Zoom, is, boy, when we're together, I love crying with us. I love laughing with us. I love exploring with us. But I might not be the funnest guy to live with all week long, if we had to be forced into some little group, that live together. So I'm fully genuine, man. When my heart's bared with your heart's bared, and we're moving into God, I'm totally genuine. I am absolutely the real deal. But I also know where those limits are too. Yeah. That'd be a good question for each of us to ask. We don't have to ask each other, but ask ourselves. Who am I really? What is the grace that God gave me? And what's the lane that He wants me to travel in? And I found out, the last couple of times that I pastored, fortunately, the very last time, they asked me to come salvage their church, their group. Literally, they were going to shut the doors, and they said, "You think you can fix that?" I said, "Boy, I don't know. I don't even know if God wants it fixed." Literally, but that's very important to me. Does God want this thing to live? And I think some things have served their purpose, and it's time to move, time to move on. Don't wait till somebody writes Ichabod over it, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I said, well, let's see. And within 6 weeks, I just went down, kind of testing the water, stick my toe in the water, see what's up. And within 6 weeks, I got 2 big God signs. I said, whoa, I'm here to tell you, God wants you to live. And that's not only gripped my heart, but I think it should be starting to grip your hearts too. But I said, here's a problem. Not really, but here's something to think about. I am not your pastor. I'm going to be your interim guy. I'm going to fix the problem and make it better so that a real live pastor, a guy who's gifted to be a pastor, could come in and he doesn't have to go through all the crisis management kind of stuff. Because I love crisis. I just don't want to cause crisis. You know what I'm saying? But I love crisis, and I love to help fix it. And, well, guess what? Debbie and I were there for most of 2 years, and God sent a wonderful guy, and we hand the reins off. It was a most wonderful transition, and that was, almost 15 years ago, and we are still, the whole congregation, including the pastor who came, and he served for 12 years, and then he moved on, but we're all wonderful friends. And I think the reason is we were proactive. We didn't serve the company. We didn't serve the business. We didn't seek titles. We sought, how do we find out where God really is? And let's move with Him on it. So, fun stuff. We don't talk about that kind of stuff very much on this Zoom, do we?